second, I'm gonna do a chat check. All right, we are live on YouTube. Good morning, Amy. Doesn't look like you're muted, Mamie, but maybe your sound's down, possibly? No, now you're muted. I need to unmute you.
Okay.
There we go.
Can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. We are now on
Yep, we're live.
meeting of the Barron County Finance will come to order. Good morning, Stephanie. Would you call the roll?
Morning. Commissioner Yarborough?
Here. Present.
Commissioner Harrison?
Present on Zoom from Lincoln Township.
Oh, that's right, we had to do that. I forgot about that. Good job, Bob.
Present, Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Yeah, we have to have that in the minutes, where they're with Zoom from.
It's part of the Open Meetings Act.
Right.
I
I forgot about that.
So they have to say it?
They have to say it, yeah, so.
Should I start over?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Hinkleman?
Present from Bainbridge.
Commissioner Scott?
Live from Studio Z, New Buffalo Township.
Thank you. All of our committee is here, and I thank you all for being here. What we would like to start with is, would you, Annette, take us through the order of the agenda?
Absolutely. So also on Zoom, you have Jason Latham and Carrie Bennett from the road department, and they're going to talk to you first this morning about a resolution to amend the road department budget. Take it away.
Okay.
Thank you very much. How's that? Is it a little bit better on the volume?
I can
You
hear
guys
you.
hear me?
Okay, well, we're gonna jump right in. What you're probably gonna see is what you've seen for the last couple of years from us, which is our standard amendment to the budget. This would be the second one for this year, and there will be a third in December to kind of finalize the year. So I'm gonna let Carrie jump right in, kind of give you the background, and then we can answer some questions and go from there.
I would like to ask something. What is your fiscal year?
So we're the same with you. We're right in lockstep with the county.
January to December.
Yes, exactly.
We did that for a while. Okay, thank you. Please continue.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have the resolution in front of you. We are taking the projects based on the current schedule, and we had to move a couple around based on some federal aid projects that have been shifted. So we are reducing our revenue by 1.65 million, shifting that to 2021, and reducing our expenditures by 3.5 million, and again, shifting those based on the project schedule. So it'll be one more amendment coming in December to finalize things, but this is where we stand right now currently.
And one of the things we have been talking to the county about is just getting on a regular quarterly cycle. So I feel like we're pretty much on that now with this October. This would be a normal time for us to do amendments. I think we did one last year, this time as well. And then obviously we've done one in December every year. So I think talking with Doug, getting on that quarterly update where we might not do an amendment every time, but at least an update quarterly makes a lot of sense.
So nothing unexpected or out of the ordinary as far as the budget, the money coming in and money going out, just project timing and the like.
Right, exactly. And you're familiar with the project down the trail project along South Roosevelt, that got postponed. So that's about $1 million of this that's getting pushed to next year, for example. So it's just little things like that that we have to deal with. And obviously we didn't know it was going to get postponed until it got postponed, which was sometime in the spring or summer months after our May.
Or even later, depending on the
Yeah.
bids.
Yeah, so it was Roosevelt was the one, and then Red Arrow is the other big one, shifting the portion that won't get completed this year to 2021. So those were the two major projects that we needed to account for.
Would you say the second, you said Roosevelt and what else?
The Red Arrow Highway project at Union
Red Arrow.
Pier.
Okay.
Shift part of that project that won't get completed this year and move it to 2021.
Okay. Are they still working on it at all?
Yes, they are.
6 days a
Madam
week.
Chair.
Huh?
Madam Chair, this is Brian Doucette.
Yes.
I'm going to ask Jason and Carrie, if there's any way you could get a little closer to the microphone. We've got our volume completely at max and I'm still struggling to hear.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've been trying to work on it. Ours is that a little bit better or no?
Jason,
trying.
I can hear you now.
Carrie's
Okay,
a little
great.
bit softer.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Commissioner Scott. I have a question for Jason and Carrie. Would you explain to me on the amended budget on the expenditures versus the revenues, how much money are we expecting to take out of our fund balance for these balance sheets?
So the current budget, we were planning on using 4.5 million of our fund balance, and we're now reducing that to just shy of 2.7 million.
Okay. My next question is, I've been on finance now for 3 years, and I don't think it's any big thing that all of a sudden I'm bringing it up, because I bring it up every year. Why are we using money out of our fund balance to do these projects? And the reason I say that is I'm starting to get a little worried, especially for the year 2021's Public Act 51 money coming in, because we had 3.5 months of low driving, which is low gas tax revenues brought in. So what is the state going to hit us for in our 2021 budget money? And I guess the question to me is, are some of these things that we are using that fund balance for, should we be tightening our belt a little bit and saying we're going to have to put these off for another year?
So that's a good question. And if you look back at the update that we gave for in September for our hearing, what we tried to do is touch on that a little bit. So let me explain just a little bit more. Really, what we do is we take the MTF revenue projection the state gives us. So they say, here's how much transportation money you're going to get for next year. And then that's what we budget. In this particular year, because there was issues last fall with whether or not the governor wanted to bond, or if the governor wanted to take some funding away from roads, we were very conservative. So we budgeted 16.7 million for this year. When they were projecting the MTF revenue should be higher than that. But the governor said that she wasn't really going to allow that. So there was a lot going on. So I said, well, let's not, overestimate how much money we're going to get. Let's go with what we know we're going to get. So fast forward to right now, the 3 months where nobody was driving, that immediately turned around 2 months ago, and we've got a historic high level of MTF revenue. Like the vehicle miles traveled and the revenue coming in is the highest it's ever been. So we're making up that deficit. So it looks like we're going to be spot on with our budget revenue projection for the most part. It doesn't look like we're going to take a big hit. And then next year's revenue projections, I believe it's an increase over, off the top of my head, I'm going to say it was probably about almost $1 million more than what we had now. But we'll definitely, as soon as we have that number, we'll let you guys know. But we're right in lockstep. We understand what the revenues are coming in. We get monthly updates from MDOT, and we're right on, even with the pandemic and those 3 months of minimal driving.
And Jason, the reason I'm asking that is, prior to you coming to the county and assuming the director's job, if I'm looking at these figures correct, our fund balance was almost 12 million? Is that correct? Is that close to that, Carrie? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I want to take everybody back in time and Carrie, your history, so you'll know this. The reason I like to keep our fund balance at a good fund balance is, let's not forget what happened in Harbert, where 200 and some feet down, we had to replace the culvert that went underneath Red Arrow Highway. And we would have been in serious trouble had we not had enough money to do that. So that's why I like to see a higher fund balance rather than us using that fund balance. I don't like to say in not good ways, because I know we're trying to get the roads back to where they need to be. And I understand the whole concept of, you know, our what you've done, you know, and the studies that we've done. But I just, that concerns me. So that's why I'm questioning you about it. I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong or doing whatever. I just question the what ifs. And when it comes to money, I think we need to really worry about the what ifs.
Yeah,
I appreciate. Thank you.
Yes, please, Mr. Latham. You want to answer, Mr. Scott? Jason, can you hear me? I said
Yes.
you were going to answer Commissioner Scott.
So what we've been doing is having the discussion with the county. What's the appropriate level of fund balance? And I think my philosophy, which I believe is I share it with the county and most public agencies, would be we want to have the appropriate level of fund balance, but we don't want to save money for just the sake of saving it, because every year costs go up, prices go up. So we really need to be spending the money and the revenue that we're getting for roads when we get it. Trying to have too much of a fund balance actually is to me is a negative, because you're actually losing that buying power if you're not spending it the year you get it. So we make sure that we have an appropriate level of fund balance. I think we're in lockstep with the county with making sure that we have that on hand at all times. So to me, there's kind of two levels of fund balance. There's the funds that you absolutely need to make sure that you're fiscally responsible, and then there's just money that we didn't spend this year that we need to spend next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just worry, Jason, and I say this because, you know, nothing is forever, and we know that. But, you know, what does it cost to replace a bridge?
Right.
And if we don't have that money in hand to do that, then the next thing comes is that the county board then would have to supplant money out of the general fund or our reserves, either that or go out on a bond issue, something like that, in order to do that. So that's my main concern. It has nothing to do with the way you're running your department or whatever. You run your department, you're the roads. I just worry about the monies, and I hope you understand why.
No,
Commissioner
you-
Harris. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Madam Chair?
Jason, you had answer there. You were still answering Commissioner Scott.
Yes, thank you. I agree 100%. I'm right with you, and I do worry about the money as well. And I feel like we are definitely a conservative, and we're not going, overboard on our fund balance. That's for sure. But But I think about it every day too.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harrison?
My concern was having too much money with the worry about unexpected things. Given the number of projects and how they've been managing them, I don't know that we should accumulate excess cash when priority road fixing is one of our residents' priorities. So I think it's a good discussion to have about what's the appropriate reserve to have, but let's not go overboard on it.
Commissioner Hinkleman, were you going to say something? Can't hear you.
Hang on. Mute.
Unmute, John.
You're on mute. Look at the bottom.
All right, that was hard, but I got there, so okay.
There we go.
That was different. Listen, I want to say a couple things. First of all, I think that Jason, Carey, I think we're doing this exactly appropriately. And I would just like the committee to know, and I know this is a small group, but I would like the committee to know just what recently happened. We did have an emergency thing come up in my locale, and it affected me, not as a commissioner, but as a citizen, it affected me. Right in our harvest band, we had a bridge that that was inspected, and it went from 60 tons to 6 tons. And it was a bridge that we needed to get across to harvest crops and other farmers as well. That being the case, I watched Jason swing into action when I told him of our plight, because there was no way to get there in this locale without backing down the road and actually backing across M140 to get down this road with this bridge being missing. So long story short, I watched Jason work with an emergency fashion, the bridge builders, the designers, the engineers that can come up with a fix for this bridge. And through that combination of effort, Jason was able to get prop poles and his people up underneath there and fabricate prop poles up underneath that bridge to get it to the point where we could travel across it with at least an empty truck so we could get to the other side. So as far as funds go, I think that they're handling this perfectly appropriately, and I watch what they do when they have to do it. And Bob, your comment is perfectly appropriate when you say it's this is what our citizens, we need a good road systems. They're fundamental to what we're doing. And so I'm perfectly in favor of what needs to be done there and how they're handling the finances.
Thank you. And what I think about, I know in previous times, our administrator had departments spending money. I think Riverwood had too much fund balance. The health department may have had too much fund balance, and they stopped, doing it, said, spend that. Because my thought is the state of Michigan is going to look at it and say, you don't need any more money. You have money piled up here. And so I like for us to have some safety. However you do that thing, like it's equal to a month and we can still go, or a couple of months. But I'd hate for them to think we don't need any more. And I also think that rather than if you needed money, that it would not first go to the county commission, but that it would go to MDOT, that they would put the money here or take care of the disaster or whatever that had happened. I would hope, that those are some of the steps. Tell me, if the bridge goes out, what do you do? Where do you get the money?
So if a bridge goes out, we do have to use our MTF revenue that comes to Berrien County, and we'd have to develop a plan to use the existing money we have, whatever fund balance we have. And if we didn't have enough, then it would either be potentially a bonding issue, a state infrastructure bank loan, or I know that the past administrator talked about, using the county's buying power or, to back a loan for the road, but not necessarily using county general fund, even though that would be nice. Not necessary. We can certainly handle anything road related with just road money.
Yeah.
think that's the whole point of asset management. That's the whole point of understanding the condition of our system. We have all of our bridges are inspected every other year. Some of them are inspected every year. So those are the kind of risk analysis we're going through on a weekly basis to understand what bridges we need to get done, what bridges could be a problem. The more difficult aspect are the culverts, and that's what Commissioner Scott, you brought up. That culvert's a little bit more difficult to get that real detailed condition report on a culvert that's 50 feet below the road, and it's 300 feet long. But still, we do those risk analysis. We know what we have, and we are definitely geared to deal with any emergency at any time because we have amazing people. And thanks for bringing up our bridge fix on Hill Road because that kind of stuff doesn't happen. I'd put that fix that we just did last week up against any state DOT or any county department because that truly was amazing.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think the fund balance level that the road department is suggesting very much makes sense. And to address Commissioner Scott's concern about a potential emergency repair, you do have your fund balance. You do have the ability to look at some type of interfund borrowing with the county's existing funds. And quite frankly, if we had an absolutely massive failure of a culvert, of a bridge, etc., in just days to weeks, we can work with existing banks, walking down the street. We've got 3 options. Before I left South Haven, I did essentially a general obligation debt through Sturgis Bank. And I think we borrowed at a 15-year term for just over 2%. So there's a variety of ways to cover emergency repairs. I completely understand and respect Commissioner Scott's concerns, and I'm looking out the window right now. It's absolutely pouring rain, and today's a good example of a day where culverts can fail.
Yeah.
But Jason just hit the critical point, which is through asset management, he's got regular inspections of these critical pieces of infrastructure to try and anticipate what could fail, and he's taking steps to get them repaired to the best of his ability. I think the fund balance that they've suggested makes sense, and God forbid, if we have to go out and scramble for emergency funding, that's something that we're well within our means to make happen. Those are my comments, ma'am.
What is this number? The fund balance. I'm seeing so many numbers here, I don't know where to look.
Projected fund balance with this amendment would be $9.8 million.
9.8.
8,
Thank you.
and that would exceed 2 months. Like want to target at least 2 months, or are still above that. So we're not even at the minimum amount.
Okay. Okay.
Madam
And
Chair,
what is it that we need to do? This is to update us. Is there another resolution or something, or you just update it?
Yeah, Commissioner, the resolution's on the agenda today from Finance to approve this amendment that the road department has prepared for you. So I have received communication from Commissioner Harrison with his consensus for this resolution. I just need to know if the rest of the Finance Committee is good with it going forward.
Yes.
Madam
So we
Chair,
don't make a motion, we just say, take it to the board. Members, you have other things you want to say?
no, Madam Chair, I'm perfectly happy keeping this and sending it to the board as long as we get this to the board today to get on the agenda for today, because I do think it is important that we review this and in case any of the other commissioners have any questions. But this needs to be done today.
I'm
Yeah,
okay.
it's on your agenda already, Commissioner Scott.
Yes, I know that. I just want to reiterate that.
All right. And I agree that it should be. Do you have other things you want to tell us?
Actually, Administrator Bissett wanted to have Jason touch on the road township funding, so Brian.
Yeah, so members of Finance, I'm not asking for a ton of time. I wanted to make sure you're all aware that between Jason and Carrie, They'll be doing the township outreach meetings over the coming weeks. And some of you may get phone calls about it. Jason, Carrie, can you take a few minutes and update the committee on the upcoming sessions you'll be hosting?
Yep, absolutely. So we will be meeting on Tuesday, the 11th. I was 10th. I mixed my days up of November via Zoom. So we're going to meet with all 22 townships all at the same time on a 2-hour Zoom meeting. So what we've done is it'll be the same meeting that we've actually had in 2018, 2019, and now 2020. So they'll be very used to seeing what I'm presenting. The nice thing is we're just getting better and better at our asset management. 2018, that was a little bit difficult because we actually didn't have an asset management plan in place yet. We had kind of a skeleton. So 2019 was year number 1. So now we actually have a full year under our belt. So we're going to be able to send an individual packet of information to each township. So they'll have what roads the engineering department here has reviewed and is recommending for repair. And then we're going to go over the big picture matching program that we do. And it's the same matching program that we've done for the last 2 years, which in essence, by the time we're done with our snow plowing, our mowing, our line painting, signs, all of those activities, by the time we're done with that, we're trying to follow the Act 51 general guidelines. What they say is spend 2/3 of the funding that comes to the county on county primaries and 1/3 of the funding on county local roads. And like I said, by the time we finish all of that routine maintenance, that 1/3 is spent. So there's really no room for projects on the local road network. So what we do is we take 1.5 million out of the, in essence, budget for the county primary, and we make that available to townships through a township matching program. And that's another thing that's in Act 51. It says if you're going to do roads work on local roads, project work on local roads, that money or those projects need to be matched at 50% by. So what we do is we entice them with the 1.5 million, and that's based on how many miles of roads you have in your township and what your population is within your township. So it's very fair. And I think that's one of the things I found right off the bat when I started working with the townships in 2018. They all wanted to know what I was telling the other townships. And I said, well, I'm telling them the same thing. And so I think some of them believed me, some of them didn't. But now I think they realize that we are definitely transparent. We're open. We explain what we're doing. Everyone gets the same deal. It's based on roads and population. And if they choose to match it, great. That means we get more road projects within your township. If they don't have the money to match it, that's fine too. That money just goes back into roads, potentially in their township, but on a primary road, not on a local road. So I'll be going over that process, which they're very familiar with because they've, like I said, done it 2 years in a row. I think a couple other things, we'll just talk about general road millages and what the tools the township have in their toolboxes and what they can do.
Okay.
I think there's a couple other items that big picture that we hit. And just in terms of this year, we're going to talk about our chloride treatment for dust control. We're going to be changing that for next year. I think we're going to take a little bit more control of that dust control application. Right now, it's been left up to the townships whether or not they want it. And it's sometimes difficult for them to make decisions. And all that does is make it more and more difficult for us to actually operate that side of things. So I think they'll be happy to know that we're going to run with that ourselves. So we can get that on the books and paid for. I think one of the things that I noticed when I started was there's a lot of nickel and diming that happened. Like the townships, we'd say, oh, you have to pay for signs. Like we need you to pay $500 for these signs that we put up in your township. Oh, by the way, we need, another $200 for this or for that. And you have to pay for chloride because of dust control. I think there was even a resolution at one point that said the townships had to pay for all culvert replacements. but I think what ended up happening is a lot of the road department decisions, you had a hard time understanding who's making the decision and why. And what it ended up happening is a lot of decisions were only being made by how much money the township felt like giving us. And I don't think you can actually run the road department effectively based on asset management if you don't actually have control and understanding of a program. So that's what I've been working on, that asset management discussion and how we rate the roads, what roads we pick, what projects we do. Definitely let the townships know, and then work with them, because really they have a few tools in their toolbox that I don't have. And if they're willing to come to the table with funding and suggestions on road improvements they want, we're more than happy to work with them. And I think we have half the townships now have road millages, some of them pretty substantial road millages that are new. And what I keep telling them is every township that actually invests in roads substantially, we don't have complaints in those townships because the roads and the infrastructure are in good shape. The townships that think it's 100% the road department's responsibility to make all the repairs and don't want to put any money into it, well, then their system condition is worse and people are upset and we get more complaints. So if they're willing to step up and help us, I think the public sees it right away, and it's just better for everybody. So that's usually my message. They're probably tired of hearing me say it, but it's a good message to have, because the townships that do invest in roads, we just don't have complaints. We don't have issues. So that's basically the meeting in a nutshell. That's the Cliff Note version.
Yes. Commissioners, you have questions? What I've seen, Director Latham, is, when you see in the paper where the community is going to do a millage and it passes. And I think, they don't know, I guess, the powers that be don't necessarily know, should we do this? Will the people be mad? So when they have millages, they need work done, they talk with you all and you schedule it, they pay a portion, you pay a portion, or you work it out. Is that tell me what you do? I've got money and we need our road fixed.
Yep, exactly. So what we do is we jump in with our asset management. We look at what roads they are recommending need to be repaired, and we say 9 times out of 10 we agree with them right off the bat. But at least we went through our analysis and our data, and we say this road needs this kind of fix. This road could use this kind of fix, and here's the best way to optimize that. So if we do what little bit of money you give us, we'll add to it, and then we can over time improve the condition of your roads. And we do that through engineering and analysis, as opposed to, well, I want that one because I got a complaint, or I want that one because I know that guy and he's really nice, we should fix his road. Like those are the kind of things that I want to get away from and just get to the data, because that's the most efficient way to make sure that we're doing the right fix at the right time.
Yeah. One thing I want to say to you, you say you meet with all the townships. I know you don't do cities, but what about the villages? Are they in the road department thing, or what happens?
No, the villages act just like a city. So they're responsible for their own roads. They get their own MTF revenue. But we do work with them when we do our painting of the roads. We put all the stripes on the roads. A lot of times the cities and villages will say, can you come and do ours? And we bill them for exactly what we apply within their city limits. And that works out really well.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any other questions? Administrator Bissett, anything else you want to tell us about the road?
Yeah, we have one more item, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm going to have Annette walk you through it.
So also on your agenda today, you guys should have seen the administration resolution. It's for a grant application, and I had that in there. I just thought, as long as Jason and Carrie were here, if anybody had any questions about that resolution, we would take a minute and address that. Does anyone have any questions about that resolution?
What is the number?
It's A2010367, and it was to authorize the application for the Transportation Alternative Program grant on behalf of the township that wanted to do a non-motorized trail project.
All right, it must be in some other part. That's okay.
Anybody got any questions? Okay, all right, well, then I guess we're good with the road department.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Jason and Carrie.
Yeah. Next on the agenda,
Next on the agenda is Courtney Davis, the Deputy Health Officer. She's on here via Zoom. And to talk about sole sourcing. Courtney?
good morning, good morning.
Morning. Thanks for letting me join this morning. So yeah, as Annette said and is on your agenda, I am here to seek sole source approval for a
Courtney,
vital.
I'm sorry. Can you talk a little bit louder for us?
Oh, sure. Yep. Sorry. I have the rain here at the window too. All right. I'll start over. I am here this morning to seek sole source approval for Vital Smarts. Vital Smarts is a leadership development company. They have a number of products that are fairly abundant and prevalent in the business and organizational leadership building world. So crucial conversations, getting things done, and crucial accountability. I did include, I won't read that, but I did include with the brief that was submitted a sole source letter from the company. But essentially what the health department is seeking to do is we want to do a bit of capacity building for our staff. This is in alignment with grant work that Nikki and I have been a part of through the Kresge Foundation for about the last year and a half. And so this is the next step in that process. So all of the funding for trainings provided would be coming from foundation grant funds. That grant was specifically for capacity building within local health departments to equip staff just to be able to continue to move public health work forward. Let me know if I need to talk louder. The rain has picked up here quite a bit. So this request is really to hone in on things of conversation and dialogue, accountability, and then workflow and work management. This is just something that we had early identified as needs to build in our staff capacity. I think our current response challenges and efforts around COVID have really shown that this is still something that would build a lot of capacity in how we're currently responding and how that response is going to move forward. So what this is a request to have a number of staff, so 19 staff complete crucial conversations, which is an on-demand course. So these are all virtual offerings. And then 2 staff would actually complete the crucial conversations certification training. So what that would entail and allow for us to do is moving forward, those staff could actually train others in our department, as well as the county. So that licensing would belong to the county. We would have 2 certified and trained leaders and be able to then carry that forward for more individuals. There are virtual capacities to that, and post-COVID, certainly in-person capacities too. The Getting Things Done is also an on-demand training, and that is about work management and just how to manage all of the different aspects. And then the final is 2 staff, and that would be Nikki and I as part of our Kresge work doing the crucial accountability. So our goal in doing this is really just continuing to further our work as part of that Kresge Fellowship, to continue to support response work. We've been really thoughtful in the staff that we picked to do this because we already know that we have a lot of work on our plates. So definitely want to address that. These are all self-paced courses, so we believe that they are doable in our time constraints as it is. They are also just really key pieces that I think long-term will lead to better just work outcomes for our department and for our community, and kind of build that capacity for our whole county area.
Any questions, commissioners? How much does it cost?
Sure. So the total cost that we are asking to spend is $16,196. What that breaks down to is 19 staff would do the crucial conversations. 2 staff would become the actual certified trainers. So they would be able to then go forth and train others. 16 staff would participate in getting things done, which is an on-demand. We've identified 2 staff that would really need that in a more of a virtual classroom setting. So 2 staff would do it that way. And then 2 would be doing crucial accountability of virtual classrooms. So there's a little bit of a variation in price, and in that brief, I do have that broken down for each one, but the overall is the $16,196. And that again is all covered by Kresge Foundation grant funding.
And that's why you want it to be sole sourced, so we're not out making bids or any of those things. It's connected with the Kresge Foundation?
It is connected with the work plan that was set with Kresge, yes. As well as these trainings really are sole source. So there aren't other entities that provide similar capacity building trainings that these do. Yeah.
Can this money come from any of the CARES money?
No, this is all preset with just Kresge Foundation dollars. It wouldn't really fit with the CARES Act funding.
Okay. All right, I will do that.
Courtney, this is Bob Harrison. Assuming that this training takes off and there's incredible improvement in everything at the health department, is it something that could be used with other departments at the county? And i.e., could the trainers actually do this in other departments at the county?
Yes, absolutely. And that is our goal, to be able to be that partner with the county by having 2 staff trained. What is nice about the Crucial Conversations licensing is that actually belongs to the employer. So the county in essence would hold those certifications. So it certainly would be something that could be offered to other county partners. Definitely so when we can have more people gathering together, but even in smaller groups until then. And having the training, to bring in that trainer, you would be looking at a few $1,000s plus all of the other manuals and different things. Once we have that in place, it would just be purchasing the approved supplies, if you will. There's a workbook that goes with the training, but we would be able to do that with our team. But absolutely, I see a lot of utility across county partners.
Madam Chair, Commissioner
Yes.
Scott. Courtney, I'll just be honest, I've never been a fan of sole sourcing. And the reason is at the county, we have a purchasing policy and it's a bid policy. But am I hearing you correct in saying that this is the only company? There are no other companies out there that provide anything similar to this or whatever. So that's why it can't be bid? Is that what you're saying?
So that would be correct with Crucial Conversations and getting things done. Those are, this is probably the incorrect terminology, but copyrighted, very unique training packages. They are not provided by anyone but Vital Smarts. That is accurate.
Okay, thank you. Because that means a lot to me, because you understand what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of single sourcing at all, and that's why I put forth the questions. But if these are the only people, sure, let's do it. Can only help us out to grow as a county.
That's the goal.
Yep.
On that one, we should probably have a motion to approve the sole sourcing request from the health department and to move forward with that purchase.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
This is Commissioner Harrison. I'll make that motion. You gotta hurry, Ezra.
I'm sorry, Bob. I'll support that motion based on Courtney's explanation, which I thought was very, very well presented.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Stephanie, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Yarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott.
Yes.
It passes. Thank you. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you very much. All right, bye.
Next on our
All
agenda.
right. Yep, the next thing on your agenda is I need a motion to approve your minutes for October 15th.
Okay.
Bob? Oh.
It's your turn, Ezra.
This is Commissioner Scott. I'll make that motion to approve the minutes as written.
This is Commissioner Harrison. I'll second Commissioner Scott's motion.
Any corrections, additions, questions? Call the roll, please, Stephanie.
Commissioner Yarborough,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrison,
Yes.
Commissioner Hinkleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes. Anything
Next
else?
thing on your agenda is the bills resolution that was sent out by the clerk's office, and I just need concurrence to move that forward. That is on the agenda for today.
Any questions on the bills? And do we make a motion for that, Annette?
I don't need a motion, I just need concurrence to move it forward.
I agree that they should be paid. Do you all?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So then, today on the agenda for the full board, we have the equalization apportionment report that you guys talked about last week. You'll have that one, you guys already gave us concurrence on that. The drain rolls, that's also going to be discussed at 10:30. We have the drain commissioner coming, or going to be on Zoom for that. And then the amendment to the road department budget, which you just approved, and then the bills. And I think the next thing I have to do is check for public comments, unless the administrator has something else for you.
Yeah, so I do. Members of the committee, just as we've been sitting here, I've had a flurry of back and forth emails related to a downpour of water coming from the roof at the St. Joe Courthouse. So our team is over there now. They literally have run out of buckets as they're trying to collect the water. I'm bringing it up because you all approved bids on the roof project that was just completed in the last probably 45 days. So this is one that you all may be looking at some warranty claims in the next month or so. No action is needed, but I just wanted you to be aware of the situation.
So it's the area that was fixed?
Yeah.
Woo.
I thought we did the whole roof.
Yeah, I thought we did the whole roof too.
Yeah, the entire roof was done, and apparently there are some maintenance items that need to be dealt with.
And there are different levels, you know? You used to could go out, and that helped me. You could go out different doors. You're on the second floor, there's roof there, or walking on.
Yeah.
Higher, so there are a number
Yep.
levels.
Madam Chair, it's worth noting that I actually toured the open area on the roof over the summer, and I was very tempted to move my desk over there.
Yes, because they closed all that up, but you could go out there. Well, they probably went out there to smoke. I don't know. I don't know. Anything else?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have a question. Basically, this is for Brian and Annette. This is resolution F as in Frank, 1911-323 dated November 14th, 2019. Is this just are we going to be looking at this?
Is that the road?
Should have been November 14th, 2020, or was this a resolution in November 14th of 2019 that you're wanting us to move out of committee to November 14th, 2020? I don't
No,
understand.
what I wanted you to see was that in the road department resolution for the budget amendment, they referred back to that F-1911-323, and they also referred back to F-2005-249. And I just wanted you to have those in case you wanted to look back at what those actually said. So I just provided that extra background to go along with that resolution.
Thank you, because I know we have, with budget stuff coming up and allowing I'm not sure if we have to pass another resolution to allow Brian to transfer funds and things like that. I thought we did that every year. So I think we should look at that with the budget coming up, because that's what we hired the administrator to do.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have any comments from visitors?
We do. We have comments today from Tony Benhart and Sodas Township. I would like to know the amount that Benton Township and St. Joseph Township had to put into the pot for the Napier projects. And I've asked a couple of times for any more, and I will do it one more time. We have 9 people watching today.
Okay.
All right, I believe you're good.
And may I ask, the question that Mr. Benhart had, will someone get in touch with him and answer that? Administrator Lissette?
Yeah, so I'm texting Jason right now, just asking him to pull that information together.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and he beat me to the send button.
Ah,
He wrote the answers are 0.
Yeah, 0, exactly. Carrie and I are going over mutual aid agreements here with you guys on in the background, and we just said, wait, was that a road question? So we actually heard the
Good.
For Napier Avenue, for both townships. Because it's a county primary, it's a county primary, so we don't ask townships to pitch in on those at all. Unless it's something over and above, like if they really wanted I don't know, lighting or something crazy that we would never pay for, then they want to pay for it, we can add it to the job if it makes sense.
Okay, that's good to know. Good, a really good question and a wonderfully fast answer. No,
Madam
that's
Chair, Madam Chair, on
Yes.
that issue that Jason brought up, Jason, could you clarify some of that work that was done was state funding for a state project, correct? Am I correct? Because I thought part of it was us and the primary road, and then we were going to do that. And then all of a sudden, then the state piggyback said, well, if you're going to do that portion, we should do this portion too. Is that correct?
Yeah, so with the Napier Avenue project, that's within the Twin Cats MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization area. So this project's been on the books for quite some time with a percentage from that group, which is state money, that we actually match, and then we design the project and administer it. So yes,
Okay,
it's
thank you.
a shared project through the MPO.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Just real briefly, I want to tell Administrator Doucette that I will not be at the 10:30 meeting. I've got a previous engagement.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us in person before you on the phone. It's good to see you. Good to see you all. And what I would like to ask, are there any other things, Administrator?
Yes.
No, ma'am. We're good.
Okay. Do we have a finance? Oh, no, we don't meet next week, do we?
No.
No, ma'am.
And for the 5th Thursday. And so during that week, let me ask you, Brian, do we have a C on C meeting Monday?
A committee meeting on Monday.
No, ma'am.
And on Wednesday, a EOC meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know.
Yep.
Then this meeting is adjourned. I thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Annette. And thank you anyone else that's in there helping things to work.